Every man in my family gets my grandfather's watch at 21. Mine was lost the year I came out. At my grandfather's funeral, my dad stood up in the living room with a velvet box in his hand and said, "Some family business first." Everyone went quiet. He opened the box. Inside was the watch. Grandpa's Omega, 1961, passed man to man for 60 years. Cousin Wesley turns 21 next month, Dad said. Pop would have wanted it to keep going. Wesley grinned and reached for it. "That's mine," I said. The whole room turned. Dad didn't even look at me. "We've been over this, Cole. Yours was lost." "It wasn't lost. It disappeared the same week I told you I was gay." "You want to say that part out loud?" Aunt Deb gasped. Uncle Rick set down his beer. "Watch your mouth at your grandfather's service. I turned 21 4 years ago," I said. "Every man in this family got the watch at his party. Ethan got it. Wesley's about to get it. I got a story about how it fell out of somebody's pocket." Dad finally looked at me, and his jaw was tight. "It was an accident." "Then why did you never file it on the insurance?" "Grandpa had it appraised at $19,000. You didn't even call the appraiser." "How do you know that?" "Because I called him last year." The room shifted. Dad closed the box slowly. "You've made this whole day about you. Pop is in the ground, and you're accusing your father of theft. I'm accusing you of hiding it. There's a difference." I looked at Wesley. "Don't touch that box yet." "Cole, enough," Mom whispered. "Please." Uncle Rick stepped between us. "The watch goes to the next man. That's tradition. You broke tradition, kid, not us." "What tradition did I break, Rick? Say it." He didn't say it. He just looked at me like I was something on his shoe. "Fine," I said. I pulled my phone out. "Then I'll let Grandpa say it." Dad's face changed. "What are you talking about? 3 months before he died, Pop had me drive him to the bank. Just me. He made me wait in the car. Then he came out and handed me an envelope and told me not to open it until he was gone." I held up the phone. "I opened it Tuesday. There was a key and a note in his handwriting. The key was to a deposit box. Want to know what was in the box?" Nobody moved. "The watch. The real one. It's been in that box for 4 years." Dad went pale. "That's impossible." "The watch was lost," I said. "You told everyone it was lost. But Pop had it the whole time. He took it back from you." I read off the screen, his shaky cursive I'd typed out word for word. "Cole, your father gave your watch to me to hold the night you came out. He said no son of his was going to wear the family name on his wrist. I told him it wasn't his to give. It was mine. So I kept it. It's yours. It was always going to be yours." The living room was silent except for Aunt Deb crying. Dad's voice cracked. "He had no right. He had every right. He owned it." I looked at him. "You lied to a dying man's face at his own funeral and tried to give my watch to a 19-year-old so nobody would ask questions." "You're twisting this," Dad said, but his hands were shaking now. "There's one more line." I looked back at the phone. "Your father asked me once why I never remarried after your grandmother. I told him I loved a man in Korea in 1952 and buried it for 40 years because men like us didn't get to keep things. You get to keep this. Wear it in front of all of them." The box slipped out of Dad's hand and hit the carpet. Wesley stared at him. "Grandpa was—" "Yeah," I said. "He was. And he watched Dad do to me exactly what got done to him and he stopped it. That's why he took the watch. That's why he never told anyone. He was waiting for today." I walked over, picked the velvet box off the floor and opened it. The watch inside was a fake. A department store Omega Dad had bought to keep the story alive. I turned it over. No engraving. The real one had my great-grandfather's initials on the back. "You didn't even have the courage to lose it, right?" I said. Then I reached into my jacket, took out the real watch, and put it on my wrist in front of all of them. My great-grandfather's initials pressed cold against my skin. Dad opened his mouth to speak. I clasped the band shut and looked at him. "Pop already said everything."